Hello, my brilliant students. Welcome back. I know, exams are just around the corner, but don't you worry one bit. Today, we're going to unpack a truly magical poem, Coleridge's Kubla Khan, and I promise you, we are going to make this so simple and so much fun.
Arey bachcho, tell me something. You know that feeling, right? You have this absolutely amazing dream. It's like a whole movie playing in your head. And then, the moment you open your eyes, poof, it just vanishes. Well, we're going to talk about a poet who had this exact same problem. But the little bit he did manage to remember, well, it became one of the most famous poems in the world.
But here's the really interesting part, the big mystery. This super famous poem, well, it's not even finished. It's just a fragment, a piece of a bigger dream. So the question is, why? Why is it incomplete? Let's find out the story behind this mystery.
Okay, let's dive into this. The story of how this poem came to be is honestly just as fascinating as the poem itself. It's a Kamal story about a poet's very strange dream.
So just imagine this scene. Coleridge is completely in the zone, right? He's writing down this epic, beautiful vision from his dream. And suddenly, ding dong, someone's at the door. By the time his visitor left, the dream was gone. It's just like when your Wi-Fi cuts out right in the middle of an amazing YouTube video. The flow was broken, and the poem, well, it just remained a fragment.
All right, moving on. Let's look at the first part of the dream that Coleridge actually managed to write down. It's all about Kubla Khan's magnificent palace in a mythical place called Xanadu, a world of perfect, man-made order.
So, the poem kicks off with this incredibly powerful emperor, Kubla Khan. And he doesn't just ask for a palace, he decrees it. You see? That word shows his absolute power. He just says it and it happens. Just try to imagine a palace grander than any Mughal fort you've ever seen. A true paradise.
Now, this is so important. Coleridge creates this amazing contrast. On one side, you have the sunny, perfect, man-made dome. And right next to it, you have these cold, dark, freezing caves of ice, which represent the mysterious power of nature. This clash, this contrast between human creation and raw, wild nature, this is a pukka exam point, bachcho. Make a note of this.
But see, just outside this perfect, orderly garden, there's something else. Something wild, powerful, and totally chaotic. Let's take a closer look.
The poem shows us this deep crack in the earth, a chasm. And look at the words he uses. Savage, which means it's untamed and maybe a little bit scary. But it's also holy and enchanted, meaning it's magical, almost sacred. This is nature at its most powerful.
And get this, out of this chasm, a mighty fountain just explodes. It's so forceful, it's throwing up huge rocks. Now, this is not some pretty little fountain in a garden. No, this is raw, uncontrollable energy, the very power of nature, giving birth to the sacred river Alf.
And listen to this. Right in the middle of all this beauty and chaos, what does Kubla Khan hear? He hears the voices of his ancestors, and they're predicting war. This is a very jarring sound, isn't it? A hint of trouble right in the middle of paradise. It's a reminder that even in the most perfect places, conflict is always lurking somewhere.
Okay, now hold on, because the dream is about to shift completely. The focus moves away from the emperor and on to the poet himself. This part is all about the incredible power of art and imagination.
So the poet starts remembering a vision he once had. It was of a girl, an Abyssinian maid, and she was playing a beautiful musical instrument called a dulcimer. And her song, that music, was his ultimate source of inspiration.
This right here, this is the heart of it all. The poet says, if only I could remember her beautiful music, I wouldn't need any bricks or workers. I could recreate that entire pleasure dome and even the caves of ice just with my words alone, right there in the air. That, my students, is the true magic of a poet.
And here is the main point. A poet who has this kind of creative power, he becomes an awesome, almost scary figure. He's not just a normal person anymore. With his flashing eyes and floating hair, he becomes someone almost godlike, someone who has tasted the divine, who has seen paradise. People should be in awe of him.
All right, bachcho, time for the most important part. Let's do a quick fire round of some questions that could definitely come in your exam. Are you ready? Let's do this.
Okay, first up, a very common question, and a very important one. Remember, Coleridge just loves to put opposites next to each other to create a really powerful effect. So what are they?
Here they are, the key contrasts you need to remember for your answer. The sunny dome versus the dark chasm. Order versus chaos. You can even take a screenshot of this slide right now for your notes. It's going to be super helpful for revision.
Next question. This poem is just filled with that supernatural, magical feeling, which is a big part of romantic poetry. So let's pinpoint the exact lines you can use in your answer.
These are the lines that give the poem that dreamy, otherworldly quality. If you mention the demon lover or how the poet has drunk the milk of paradise, trust me, you are going to get full marks for this question.
So my dear students, here's a final thought for you. Even though it's incomplete, why do we still study this poem and love it so much centuries later? You know, maybe its mystery is its magic. Because it's unfinished, it lets our own imaginations complete the dream. What do you think? All the very best for your exams. Study well, and I'll see you in the next one.